Alhaji, let's switch gears to this running marital feud between, I call it marital feud, between two estranged, couple, former President Olusegun Obasanjo and his vice, Atiku Abubakar. They've been at this, they've been at each other's throat forever.
Yes.
Even when they were in office, especially from the second term of that administration.
Yes.
2003 to 2007. And it will seem like every election cycle, they will resurrect their issues and start all over again. They've started this cycle again. They've been at each other's throats, name calling. We had Paul Ibe here, Atiku's media advisor, who alleged that former President Obasanjo has been recruited by President Tinubu to ensure that President Tinubu does not lose, re-election, and that they see Alhaji Atiku as a major threat to his re-election. So everything must be done to stop Atiku Abubakar. What do you say to this? I mean,
well, Paul Ibe may be well informed, on this, but I'm an outsider, and as an outsider, I will look at these things much more differently.
Absolutely.
The way that
dispassionately,
than the way Paul Ibe will look at it. I know that there is no love lost between Obasanjo and Atiku, and that this matter has been overflowed. One of my favorite Nigerian heroes, I would say, is Obasanjo. I like him because he's very courageous and he speaks truth to power at any point in time. Even though during this Tinubu period, we have seen less of that. I don't know whether it is because of, the ethnic or tribal rivalry that exists within that area. That is why he's been very careful not to talk, so that they will not see him as an enemy of the Yoruba people. So he's been very cautious. But I know him; he does not. He doesn't hold, his own. No holds barred. He speaks his mind all the time. But all this letter writing and what have you, it has never emerged during
this 3 years now.
In these 3 years, I remember when some students went to visit him, he said he told them that never reinforce failure.
Exactly. Under Buhari.
That there are challenges when you are brought in, and those challenges, were the reasons why if there were no challenges, you will not be brought in, and so don't reinforce failure. He has said so many things under Buhari, but under Tinubu, he has been very cautious. He has not been seen. So I was thinking perhaps, he's been very careful, being a Yoruba man, and the Yoruba people will say he's an enemy of progress, because the Tinubu administration has always shown by conduct, act, and deed that this is a Lagos government, Lagos Yoruba government, so, and the Lagos press and the Lagos people are more vociferous, so they can, resurrect attacking Obasanjo. So perhaps that is the reason why he's been careful. But having said that, it is not, and as an elder statesman, a well-respected Nigerian, I respect Obasanjo all the time. He is not supposed to be resurrecting fights. It is like you are a nagging wife. You don't forgive something that has already passed. You have written a book on it. You have done this. You have done. Every time you have to bring it up. It is more or less belittling your status and your personality. I don't want him to always be bringing the issue of Atiku all the time. People have to come and reconcile you severally. The first time, Reverend Father Hassan Kuka and Gumi were the ones that went to Ota to reconcile them. Another one, was done behind closed doors, and then Atiku was escorting Baba Obasanjo to, to sit down for, I think, whether it was a book launch or something. So every time they get back And then another crisis comes up. I don't think Tinubu recruited Obasanjo to cause chaos for Atiku. I don't believe it because I remember there was a time we went to visit Obasanjo, and somebody went to ask him, for a favor, to be able to, talk to Tinubu. And the person came back to tell us that Obasanjo said, this government, they don't like me, so I can't talk to them. So I don't know at what point they got back, and...
Let me drill further on this. Part of the allegations made by Atiku team, Mr. Paul Ibe specifically, is that the Obi Kwankwaso ticket is the brainchild of President Obasanjo. That by luring Peter Obi out of the ADC to go to the NDC, Peter Obi's presidential ambition, at least for now, has technically been, more or less, buried, sort of, that they are not going anywhere. And that is why, and that President Obasanjo is actually working for Tinubu's re-election, that it's a grand design, grand scheme, and that the only person effectively who can muster enough votes to cancel out or deny Tinubu his re-election is Atiku Abubakar. What do you think?
Obasanjo supported
Peter Obi in
2023. Yes. If Obasanjo supported Peter Obi in 2023, Obasanjo is looking for somebody to support. Perhaps because he's not interested in Tinubu, and neither is he interested in Atiku. So he wants a third force. And Obasanjo has always been talking about third force. Now, he supported Peter Obi in 2023, and Peter Obi was able to muster about 6.1 million votes. And so, in his own view, that if Peter Obi is able to get a very formidable deputy, perhaps he may be able to win the election. That is his own view. Because the other time he had that Baba Ahmed, and that Baba Ahmed was even unable to win Kaduna State for him. So perhaps if Kwankwaso is able to win Kano, and then maybe make some inroads in Jigawa, Peter Obi now is able to win those traditional states he won before, perhaps they may carry the day. So I don't think he was recruited. I just believe that it is his own way of saying, I'm not supporting Tinubu, I'm not supporting Atiku, this is my own candidate.
Okay. Let's leave
and then, he believes also that the Southeast, yes, it is the turn of the Southeast. Obasanjo has always been saying it, that the Southeast deserve to be there. So these are some of my thoughts.
But this, what you said now, it runs counter to your earlier submission that, Yoruba people would see him. He does not want to be seen by Yoruba people as being a spoiler to a Yoruba incumbent president. So why is this backing?
I'm talking about criticism.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm not talking about support. I'm talking about criticism.
Not criticizing
yes, Tinubu. Why he's not criticizing Tinubu. But support, he has the right to support anybody he wants, But in terms of criticism, yes, perhaps that is why.
Alhaji, let's leave that and come to your party, the PDP. Which we don't know which presidential candidate you are fielding. The Wike faction uploaded the name of somebody, and your faction said it's President Goodluck Jonathan. Even though President Goodluck Jonathan never bought any form, nobody saw him anywhere, speaking to delegates and all of that. What's going on with the PDP? Are you even going to field any candidate at all?
Number one, President Goodluck Jonathan is our candidate. I have said it several times. Some people say, but he has not come out to say so. I said, he has also not come out to deny so. So, and in law, silence means consent. Now, we have submitted his name. The reason why we are not making any noise about it is because the matter is before a court. There are two judgments that we are asking the court to interpret. The judgment of the Supreme Court and the judgment of the Court of Appeal. Now, if those two judgments are given express interpretation, we are very confident that the judgments were in our favor. So what we want is to make pronouncement that this judgment, this is what it means, and INEC do what is required. And then his name will be uploaded,
Okay, let me ask you, as we wind down, because of time.
But I need to say something.
Okay.
so that people will understand, the listening public, that the fact that INEC didn't give us the code does not mean that our candidates are thrown out. This thing happened to us in Ekiti. In the Ekiti election, Oluwade, we were given the code, and then INEC blocked the portal. So we submitted manually. And after Oluwade went to court, and the court gave judgment, the court directed that his name must be uploaded. And his name was uploaded, and he stood for election in Ekiti State. So the issue of uploading or recognition by INEC is not final.
Now, let us do scenario now. Should in case PDP does not have a candidate in the forthcoming election, I want you to give us an answer. Don't avoid the question. Which of these candidates are you going to back in the presidential elections? President Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, Shewore, or Peter Obi, or Adebayo Adewale? You have to give me a name. Who will you back?
I will back Goodluck Jonathan.
No. Goodluck Jonathan is on the PDP. I'm saying if PDP does not field, ends up not fielding a candidate, which of these? You have to give us a name.
I cannot wish my party will not field a candidate when a matter is in court. It is something that is pregnant. You cannot tell me to choose outside the scope of my party when the matter has not been finally determined. If the matter has finally been determined, then I can now make a choice. But as it is now, I stand with my party.
Okay, Goodluck Jonathan is your candidate.
Yes.
Who is your second candidate after Goodluck Jonathan?
I don't have.
I like this idea. That's why they call you Sally the Cat. Yeah, that's why they call you Sally the Cat. I don't know why they call you Sally the Cat.
Yeah.
Okay. When you were here the last time, we talked about this Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council.
Yes.
That scandal with Gbajabiamila Miller.
Yes.
You spoke extensively about it, and now the House of Reps quickly did a so-called investigation without calling the two dramatists personnel.
Yeah.
Both the Adeyemi, Prince Adeyemi Adeniyi, and then the main person, that's what's his name, Gbajabiamila Miller. None of them showed up at that committee. The committee summoned the Adeyemi, but the police did not bring in. So they hurriedly tied it up. What's your final conclusion on this?
I have made a classic comment in one of the national television stations. They asked me this same question, and I said, I do not see justice in both ICPC and the House of Reps. The House of Reps is where Gbajabiamila Miller was a presiding officer. You cannot be a former presiding officer of a place and for that place to give valid judgment against you. It is not possible. And look at what the House was busy doing. They were just busy comparing signatures. That's the only thing. They said they were doing forensic examination of signatures. That in 8 places the signatures were the same, and in 1 place the signature was not the same. That is rubbish. It is not only signature alone. There are so many issues that have come up, which were not addressed, which a judicial commission of inquiry will have, been able to address. So questions that will embarrass Gbajabiamila Miller will never be asked. Questions that will embarrass the government of Tinubu will never be asked by that committee. And so that committee's job is merely to scratch the surface, but it has not done anything. And that report in itself is a nullity. Some other Nigerians have even gone to say, because they spoke to the man himself, so the man is guilty. They do not even know what it means when we say we should do an investigation. The man, even if you speak to the man, it is what the man decides to speak to you that he will tell you. But put a judicial commission of inquiry, lawyers will come and argue the issue, and the truth will come out. There will be, people will be placed on the oath and on the witness box, and they will be interrogated, and the truth will come out. If you say his agency is fake, how can you bring him before ICPC? ICPC that is investigating real workers of government. His own is fake. So he should not go before ICPC. You know, he should go before a commission of inquiry, and a commission of inquiry, once established, will have other prominent Nigerians, like civil society, will be there, and so there will be no room for maneuver. Here, you are the one, he who pays the piper, dictates the tune. You are the ones who appointed the ICPC chairman, and all the ICPC chairman, as it is now, is a brother to Farouk Aliu. Farouk Aliu is from Jigawa State. Farouk Aliu is an APC chieftain. The secretary of ICPC, Wiki, how could you expect justice there? Which justice will you get?